when you're winning. Get a goal, it's just the beginning. You gotta sing when you're winning. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. You gotta sing when you're winning. Get a goal, it's just the beginning. Sing, sing when you're winning. Everywhere you go.
Hello and welcome to episode 54 of the Sing When You're Winning, a Fantasy Football League oddity podcast featuring, as ever, distant cousins of podcast royalty and a very special guest this week who we will reveal very, very shortly. But waiting in line for the podcast throne once again this week, it's myself, Jamie, we've got Steve, we've got Lee, and we've got Jersey Chris.
Hello.
So this week, everybody, when Ange Postecoglou flies back from London to Melbourne, he could watch every minute of his 8 games as Forest manager on his laptop and still have time to take in the 3 Crocodile Dundee films before landing. I don't know if anyone saw that on social media the other day. I thought it was a great piece. So what trilogy would you pick if you were on a long flight to Oz, safe in the knowledge you'd earned a decent payoff for about 6 weeks' work? So there you go.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first with that one?
I don't know. I'll just go easy. I'll just go with Star Wars.
Star Wars. You'd have time to watch all 9.
It's simple. Oh, Back to the Future. Maybe I could watch all 3 of those.
It was Back to the Future Day, wasn't it, the other day as well?
It was yesterday.
Topical, Steve. I like it.
Great Scott.
Yes. Is it? They are great movies. Great movies. Lee, have you got any thoughts on that?
No, I'd be the same, really. Pretty boring and go for like Star Wars or Indiana Jones. You know, it's the classics, as I call them.
Yeah.
Maybe Taken 1, 2, and 3, or Airplane. That'd be a good one.
Did they make a 3rd Airplane?
I don't know. If they didn't, they should do. Maybe on the back of a Naked Gun. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
probably
in the pipeline.
Seth MacFarlane or whatever, if he did the other one. Good stuff. And Jersey Chris, how about you? Where are you at on films?
I'll probably go with Transformers, but if we were to do series, I'd do Masters of the Air, The Pacific, and Band of Brothers, but that's 30 hours. So
You've thought about this before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love my war.
Your dream sitting on a flight to Australia and watching shed loads of television. No, that'll be good. To be honest, I'd quite like to watch the 3 Crocodile Dundee. I've never watched Crocodile Dundee 3. It's Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles. It's probably bad, but
I'm not
I
sure
quite
if I
like
remember that one either.
Yeah. Well, he did a very, very recent one, which I don't know if anyone's seen. It was on Sky about a year ago, and Paul Hogan plays himself in like a spoof kind of documentary. The Crocodile Dundee actor in Australia. It's all a bit random. It's called the real Mr. Dundee or something random. Like Olivia Newton-John was in it before she died. Anyway, pointless film information this Friday morning. So there we go. And it's getting dark again, Steve, on these Friday mornings. We'll move swiftly on.
Yeah.
So this week's special guest, let's bring them in, and we'll also ask them about films as well. But their bio on X says they're a sports broadcaster for the BBC. They talk about Leeds United. They love a round of golf, but also love Everton Football Club, which is very interesting given that they talk so much about Leeds for their job. But let's give a warm Sing When You're Winning podcast welcome to Adam Pope. Woo!
Thanks, guys.
Hello.
Thank you.
Welcome.
How are we doing?
Oh, all right. Other than me and I think half the press corps and half the Leeds team have got this horrible cough and man flu. Obviously, it's dreadful for us guys, this, isn't it? So yeah. But other than that, doing absolutely tickety-boo. Yeah, doing good. Godfather 1 and 2 would definitely ditch 3 and switch it for Goodfellas. That'd be my trilogy, I think.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, Godfather 3, not the one, is it really? But I suppose when your bar is 1 and 2, where do you go?
Yeah, what you don't do is not have Winona Ryder and put in Coppola's daughter. That's what you don't do.
Yeah,
in the lead role, isn't it? So I've got to slide Goodfellas or Gangs of New York or something into there instead.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. So, looking at your team, Adam, you've not played any chips yet. We noticed you're not a fan of the chips, but you're in a Leeds pod league, I understand, that stipulates you must have 3 Leeds players at any one time. So how does that work for you? Are you happy with that, or does that hamper you somewhat?
Well, it does hamper us, obviously. So on our pod, the Don't Go to Bed Just Yet pod, there's me, Simon Ricks from the Kaiser Chiefs, our boss Johnny, and lad that does the videos for us, Lewis. So there's 4 of us. But yeah, we have to have 3 Leeds players at all times. I mean, they can all be on the bench, but it does hamper you a bit. So you've got to be a bit creative. So I feel my team's been running out of steam a little bit lately. And I am using my first chip this week, guys. Definitely using my first chip. Yeah, I'm going from a free hit this week. So there'll be multiple changes before I revert back to the norm, which has been pretty poor so far.
Well, you could probably use your chips for the next couple of weeks now, because they've all got to be used by mid-December. And then there's the African Cup of Nations, where they're going to give you 5 free transfers around middle of December anyway. So I would start using them all now. Right.
Good advice. I tell you, I didn't do it last year. I sort of took a rest from it. And my sort of performance has been pretty sort of, I don't know, recovering late on in the season to finish a creditable mid-table. That's sort of my performance. So I don't at all sort of... someone that's an aficionado, not like Ali Bruce Ball, who was on last time for you. He was properly across it all. So, yeah, I'm still finding my way with it a little bit. So, but I'm being more diligent than I was the other years that I've done it.
Good stuff. And what are you like with head-to-head leagues? Is this the first time you've been in a head-to-head league?
Yeah, it sort of took me a bit by surprise, that really. I've not really looked when the fixtures come out. I've not really looked at the other team and I thought, what do I have to do here? But I've had a couple of wins, but I've dried up lately, so I'm struggling because you've got to finish so far at the table, haven't you, to sort of move on. So desperate for a win there this weekend, definitely.
Good stuff, Steve.
Looking at your this will be your 5th season. Is that about right?
Yes. Yeah.
It says started in 2020. 2020-21, and then obviously skips last season's one. So that would be actually easier for you when there's no Leeds, when Leeds are in the Championship, then, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So to be honest, you're that focused on what you're doing with work and the Champion, you almost sort of ignore the Premier League, other than watching. Like myself, I've got a team that I've got a vested interest in Everton, but you just haven't got the headspace to. It's almost useless information for you when you're concentrating on what's going on in the Championship, which, as we know, is that big grind. So from a work point of view, I'm just focusing on what's going on in the division that I'm working on, really. So it was probably a help that I didn't do fantasy Premier League last year.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Leeds are too bad. They're quite good cheap players to have there, aren't they? So you can have, like I say, you can have them on your bench or a Stack or a Rodon or somebody's probably quite good to have in your team, aren't they, really?
Why I'm doing so bad, because I've got 3 Leeds players in my team.
And you're not in Poppy's league, so you don't have to do
it. That's by choice.
I'm trying to gamble. I went big down at Wolves with DCL, thinking he must score, and he did, and I think he got me a load of points that day. And I'm sort of stuck with it, thinking, it might be a bit more creative than everybody having, say, Haaland. Obviously, he's going for it at the moment, but I've got to think of somewhere where there's going to be some value like that. When you're sort of hamstrung with 3 players from one team that you have to have, then you've got to think of something a bit different. And it sort of worked for a few weeks, but now it's clearly not.
Yeah, I think gambling with him as captain's a bit risky. Yeah, always stick with Haaland or Salah, or not Salah this year, but whoever. Salah's gone, hasn't he? What's happened to that?
These news come in with Salah though. I've transferred him out, so he's going to start scoring now.
No, I transferred him out a couple of weeks ago, and that's the rules.
I did, yeah. Getting rid of Salah's changed my season.
I've still got him.
When I take him out, he's going to start scoring again.
This is why you're nearly bottom, Chris.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't think Salah's having any resurgence this season, but hey, you never know. He could prove us all wrong. Shall we have a look back at game week 8 then? Very quickly, we'll look at the sheep. So the players that everyone is buying and bringing into their teams. So we've got Ray in goal. Everyone's going for him. Gabriel in defence. Saka back in midfield. Now he's back playing. And Walter Marda, good old Rudy Voller. Everyone's getting him in the team as well. I think I'm going to sign him this weekend, to be fair, because João Pedro is going. I've held on for him for far too long. And
what I've already done this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
No.
getting rid. Even though they've got Sunderland, Spurs, and Wolves coming up, so you think, but the guy's just not scoring. He's not. He's getting like 2 points a week, and it's just pathetic. So he's going, in my opinion. Has anyone else got Pedro and want to get rid of him?
He's gone.
Yeah.
Gone on
No.
Friday.
I think I had him early on. Thiago looks nice as well for Brentford, doesn't he? I quite like the look of him. He's only about 6 million or something.
Brentford are doing all right. So yeah, but yes, Rudy Voller. I think everyone should get him in the team. He's a cracking player.
He's come in this week. Yeah.
And then
Get out of my club.
is the people are getting rid of. Allison, I can't believe anyone's still got him, to be fair, but there's people still getting rid of him. Van der Ven, who I'm tempted to get. Looking at the next three, I'd get rid of all of them. Van der Ven, Salah, we've just talked about, and João Pedro is the other one that people are actually seeing sense and getting rid of. So yes, but look, also looking back last weekend, praised by the chairman. This is pretty impressive. Sophie Ridge got 94 points.
Oof.
Yes, she used a bench boost, but that's allowed. And her world ranking out of 12,226,838 teams was 76,372, which I think is pretty impressive.
Wow.
So well done. And that was on Sophie's birthday week as well, wasn't it? So
A lot of birthdays last week, wasn't
yeah, lots of birthdays. I was thinking the other day we should start a birthday corner, Steve, on the pod every week.
Really?
Maybe we could all sing to them. Maybe not.
Do that.
Yeah, and then sacked in the morning. Who ending with they were 11,500,909th last week. It was Nathan Clark with 30 points. Sorry, Nath.
I think Nath did say he forgot to do his team or something. So, but whether it obviously wasn't very good anyway.
But yes, he was in the bottom like 750,000, which isn't that bad when you think about it. But yeah, it's still.
No.
But let's go to Steve for a full game week 8 review, and we might have some post-match chats as well to look forward to. But over to you, Steve.
We might indeed. So obviously it was Mateta owners that were generally happy this week. And in the Premier League, he shot Jim Daly, the pre-season favourite, to an 81. He beat Ed's Chesters 65. I think when Ed's came on the pod, he was top, and I don't think he's won since. So he's like the difference. Everyone else seems to do quite well on the pod. Ed's gone the other way. And apparently the Blue Tones are on tour there, and Ed's was quite happy because Welbeck had scored him 2, and he thought he was quite smug and he was going to win. And Adam took great delight in telling him that his opponent had Mateta, who got a hat-trick.
Great stuff.
There was also an 80 for Tom Roberts. He beat Dan. Dan's not too happy about that. And I got 78 to beat Leon, who got 70. Alistair Bruce Ball won the last 2 years champions clash. He beat Mark Summerton 62-52. Steve Taylor finally got his first win of the season, who beat second bottom Tim Ward. And Adam Devlin, as we just mentioned, and Rich Archer both won again, which means Adam and Rich are joint top with 21 points. Third is Paul Chambers-Tonner with 16 points. And then it's me in fourth, 16 points.
Where do you come from?
I mean, it's only a few weeks ago. You're all mocking me for being in the relegation zone.
Is that the highest you've been in years?
It is actually, yeah.
Well done.
About three years since I last won the league, Jamie. When did you win the league?
Well, I'm talking since we've been doing the pods. Do you know what I mean? You've not been doing that well.
It's definitely the highest since then.
Yeah.
And down at the bottom, there's Dan Stewart with 7 points, but the relegation zone, which is where we really want to be, is Chris Duhamel, who's in the bottom 3 with 6 points. Tim Ward with 6 points, and Steve Taylor has 3 points now. Alistair Bruce Ball said his title charge starts now as he moved into the top half of the table. And Dan Stewart said, I hate this game. In the championship, Nicola Dunn got 74. She was the highest score there, and she beat you, Lee.
She did. Well done, Nick.
She was very happy about that. So well done to you, Lee, indeed. Well done. Good mood all weekend.
You have to send us that money, Steve.
Even though she still wasn't accepting win, even though she'd easily won that last match, she still wasn't quite convinced. In the last year's relegated sides, John Gregory beat Michelle Gale 67-59. Alex Renton just pipped Swanee 67-65. Leader Alistair Griffin won again. He beat Rich Lay 57-45. Alistair now the only team that's not lost a game yet. He has drawn one. And Alistair's rival, Joe Derrick, beat Jamie Hurst 58-52. So that means both guests last week won.
Yeah, and I have to admit he didn't beat Jamie Hurst. He beat Jamie Morgan. So, but I was going to let
Did
that
he?
one slide.
No.
But he did. He beat me.
Well, H's and M's look pretty
Yeah,
similar,
yeah.
don't you? So, I was just trying to save you that embarrassment.
I know
James.
Joe would have mentioned it if I hadn't mentioned it anyway.
Sorry, yeah, you did make a big thing of it last week, you two, didn't you?
Yes.
League table-wise, Alistair Griffin's top with 22, Joe Derrick's got 21, and then the playoffs are Alex Renton 18, John Gregory 15, Henry Mullen 15, and Phil Pinder with 15. Down at the bottom, there's loads of teams on 9 points, and the bottom three is Jamie Hurst with 7, Graham Swan with 7, and Cole is still on his own down there with 3 points lead.
Yeah, the
And
3 points that he got off me, and he told me about it at length last week.
But can we have a special mention about Call It the Magic Mod thing? What happened again, Lee? Do you want to tell everyone?
We had a wonderful time, the pair of us. Yeah, we sat there on the front row. Ben was doing his stuff. Absolutely fantastic. And then all of a sudden I felt this lump fall onto my shoulder, and it was Cole falling asleep.
And what did Ben say?
He used a C word. And that's all I'll say, yeah.
Did he ask
He
him
didn't
to
cut
wait?
him in half or anything, did he?
No, he didn't. Didn't even throw a card at him. Didn't even throw a card at him. But yeah, it was a brilliant show anyway. I enjoyed it. I stayed awake through it all. To be fair, Cole was excited after United had won. So
Yeah.
I think he'd supped a few too many ales.
Great stuff. Imagine falling asleep in front on a magic show.
Of a magician, at least one a comedian anyway. That'd have been a nightmare, wouldn't it? Comments-wise, there, Alistair Griffin has noted that Joe is still hot on his heels. He's very happy with his season, but he's a bit annoyed that Alex Renton has got more game points than him, so he's not entirely happy that he's top of the league.
Mm.
And Carl Sewell, who lost to Phil Pinder in our sponsors derby, a bit like Dan, said, "This game is bullshit."
Harsh but fair.
Henry Mullen said his team is going up the gears, and he's got a big game against Alex Renton this week, which should confirm that for him. League One. As we've already mentioned, the huge bench boost 94 from Sophie Ridge beat Steve Wybrandt with 49. And well done to Nigel Clark, who was the other person who'd not won a game. He got an 84 to beat Paul Spence, who got 56.
Good stuff.
The leader there, Ben Halliwell, stuffed Nathan Clark. So Nathan had the worst week of the lot, but he lost 72-30. And Dave Atkins leapfrogged Mike Bushell with a 71-52 win. We've got some comments in a bit for that one. League table-wise, Ben Halliwell's top 21 points. Ben Hope is second with 18. Then is Dave Atkins, 18. Mike Bushell drops to 16. Steve Wybrandt, 15 points. Grace Maloney now up there. She's got 15 points. And then Mark Morris, who also had a birthday the other day, and Pete Martini both have 15. Down at the bottom, Nath Clark with 9 points, but the bottom four are Stu Kelly with 6, Craig Wilson with 4, Nigel Clark with 3, and surprisingly, bottom, Vicky Sparks with 3 points.
Oh,
Vicky was really good last year. So,
she was.
comments-wise there, Steve Wybrandt, having been thrashed by Sophie, said, "I hope she had an awful birthday, and I'm glad Sheffield Wednesday lost." Nigel Clark said, "Here we go," and he would have sent a message, but he said he's lost his voice at the moment. I think he's been doing a bit of touring, so he's a bit poorly voice-wise at the moment. And we have a voice note from Dave Atkins after his win over Mike Bushell.
And the time is fast approaching 9:20 a.m. Let's go over to Mike for the sport now. Mike, how's things looking on the sport front? Mike? 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 Where's Mike? Oh, I'm just hearing in my ear that Mike's gone back to the drawing board. Over to Carol for the weather.
That's one of my favourite voice notes so far. It really is. And you will all have to wait until Friday morning to listen to it, but I quite liked it.
Conference League then, the top two teams in there were also the top two scorers. Finn Dunn thrashed Becky Bass 86-25. Becky, it sounds like Becky's got the lowest score there, but she made lost about 8 points on transfers or something, so that's what took her down to 25. Jack Bandera got an 80 to beat Chesney Hawks, who got 70. So Chesney's a bit unlucky there. He's changed his team and he's getting better, but he's not getting the results yet. Jack Carroll had a good win. He beat Joe Singleton 80-64. Maddox Jones, who a few people went to see last week in Leeds, he pipped George Pearson 76-73. Marty Longstaff beat Mikey Austin Riley 67-61. Neil Poynton got a 75 and beat Adam Constable, who got 71. And you, Adam, you were playing Frankie Francis and lost 59-41.
Yeah. Bang. Well, below average, wasn't I? Poor.
Yeah.
Surgery needed.
Would have probably lost to most people, apart from Becky.
Yeah.
League table wise, Finn Dunn still top 21 points. Jack Bandera 18 points. Then after that, there's Maddox Jones 18, Marty Longstaff 18, George Pearson 15, Mikey 15, and then there's Joe Singleton, Duke Witter, Rob Lally all on 15. So it's all very close in that division. And the bottom teams are you, Adam, with 6, Ben Taylor with 6, James Giddings with 6, and Becky Bass with 6, and still rock bottom, Chesney Hawks with 3 points. James Giddings wasn't very happy. He just said, "Oh, the pain." And Becky Bass said, "I think I should retire."
She's just started playing again after injury. She can't retire.
Jack and Finn were having a bit of. Jack was asking who Finn was and what relation he was to me, and he sees him as a challenger. And Finn says he's right to see me as the main rival there.
There's the beef growing there.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Yeah, I'm certainly encouraging it.
Definitely.
And Neil Poynton said there's no sub for an old pro after he won narrowly in his match.
Wise words from Neil Poynton there. Good stuff. Right, let's look at fixture predictions. So last week we went for Burnley Leeds, and everyone pretty much went, well, everyone was going for a Leeds win. And so sadly, Burnley won 2-0. So no one got any points there. Liverpool, Man U. Lee, you were bang on 2-1.
I was.
So there you go. You had the belief. And West Ham, Brentford. Me and Joe both went for Brentford wins. I went 2-1. Joe went 1-0. Everyone else went for a West Ham win. West Ham, I don't think could buy a win right now based on how they played on Monday night. They were
let's hope that continues a few more days.
Yes. Well, talking of which, who the hell knows about tonight's Friday night football? Tonight it is Leeds against West Ham United. So come on, tell me, what do we think? Adam, you will be covering the game, I'm guessing. So, yes, what do you think?
Yeah, we'll be commenting on the game with their former player, Aidy White, will be with us in the commentary box. But look, the pressure's ramped up clearly after not beating Burnley, because I think we all expected them to beat Burnley. But I'm with you. I saw West Ham watch the game on Monday night, and it was frightening actually just how poor they were. Probably, I don't know, distilled in one moment. The left back that came on, Juve, for that second goal, which Brentford were more than good for 2 goals, weren't they?
Yeah.
And he's missed a challenge or gets bumped off the ball, and he's a massive unit, and then misses a challenge, which was perfectly at the right height for him just to sort of head away or something. And the lads nipped round and scored. And I just thought, if that's indicative of how they are, not fight and not putting it in, then they are there for the taking, definitely. The only thing with West Ham for me is that, and where Leeds haven't got the moment, unless they've got them fit in time, like your Okafors and your Dan James to an extent, is Bowen's a game changer for them, isn't he? So, and they seem to he carries the side, doesn't he? But yeah, they were way worse than I even expected when I saw them on Monday night. So, but Leeds pressure on, obviously at home, and all right, you can say that they're on track with 8 points from 8, but when you look at the Bournemouth, they've let that one slip. Spurs, I thought they were unlucky against them not to have got something out of the game. And then obviously you can look at all the metrics you like on Saturday at Burnley. And if you didn't see the game and you just read through all the stats, you think, oh, how the hell did Leeds lose that? But the eye test said they they just weren't great. So yeah, there was a bit of pressure on them to go and win this, but I do expect them to beat West Ham.
So you're going to go for a score?
Yeah, I think 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, I think 2-0.
A
lot will depend on the late fitness tests on people because they've got illness in the camp. You know, Ampadu and Strout haven't trained on the Wednesday ahead of the final session on Thursday, and if you don't train on the final session, then the rule is you don't play under Farker. So and then Okafor might make it, but I just felt like Dan James coming into the side as a sub for all those crosses that have been talked about, 47 crosses last week. You know, the best ones were his when he came on as a sub late on because the rest were dire, to be honest. So I think him starting and maybe Okafor starting, even if they're not fully up to speed, I think would be a pretty good way to go and try and blitz West Ham early on and get ahead because they're just falling behind in games now. And then that's so tough, isn't it, to turn around in the Premier League?
Yeah. But I think that's the way to go, isn't it? Friday night under the lights, big crowd, just go at them. Just absolutely go at them and get your noses in front. And I'm going to be silly. I'm going to go for 3-0 tomorrow night, or tonight, sorry. It's not even tomorrow night when we're recording this one. Mind about. Steve, over to you. Are you going to the game on Friday night?
Not at the moment, I don't think we are, unless Finn comes up with some late tickets for me. But so I'll be watching it on the telly. It'll be nice with a glass of wine. It'll be lovely. Until the football starts, and then it won't be much fun at all. and I'll go for the most obvious Leeds result, which will be 1-0 to West Ham, Somerville.
We shall see. I'd be very surprised. But so you're going for a West Ham win. Jersey Chris, do you think West Ham will beat your beloved Leeds boys?
Well, it's my birthday weekend, so
right.
Obviously we're going to get beat and my weekend's going to be ruined. But no, I'm kind of listening to what Adam's saying, and I think if we do start with Noah and start with James and we can go at them, then I think we can cause some problems. And I want Visual to play. I really want to see him.
Yeah.
And then Perry back in goal as well would be a good shout. I'm going to go for a Leeds win. I'm going to go for 2-1. I think Bowen will score against us as well.
Chris, can I say why I think Darlow was unlucky not to start the season because I thought he finished off really well. I know they brought this guy in as the number one, but I'm not convinced yet. I think Darlow's kicking's better. I think he's been equally good at shot stopping. I haven't blamed any of the recent goals on him, I have to say. And I just think everybody's calmer with him in goal. I don't know, but you thinking Perry's
right. I mean, we spent 15 million or whatever on him, and I mean, he is a unit. He's 6'8", isn't he? So, and I think obviously he's just came. And
I don't think he's that big, Chris. He just seems like that to you.
I knew where that line was.
He's only like 6'4" or something.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he's like 6'8". I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
like a giant.
Everyone's a giant to me. I think Darlow's doing well, but I don't know. I think number one goalkeeper should be starting.
Fair point.
Yeah, but has he got to win that place? Because Darlow, really, the change in the mood with the team at the end of last season when the Darlow came in for the last 8 games or whatever it was palpable, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's better than Meslier, poor lad.
So yeah, I think he's a good steady away. He was good at Newcastle, I thought, Darlow as well. He's a good steady away Premier League goalkeeper, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think the Wales stuff that he's picked up on now, I think that's definitely. Obviously, he's getting more games now, hasn't he? Been there number one. But I think, Chris, you're right. I think it will happen that Perry will come back in if he's recovered from this quad thing. And he is in the flesh. He is a massive unit. When you meet him close up, I mean, he is huge. There is some presence there, and obviously they've changed the way they played this season, and they're big in both boxes, and they get the ball at the park quick, and he's got this massive throw. But I'm just worried, that his kicking is erratic, and whereas Darlow will chip it into Calvert-Lewin, who's great at holding up, as we know, whereas honestly Perry's kicking is just so wayward at times. The ball's going to come back. If it doesn't go out, it's going to come back straight away in the Premier League. So I'm sort of I'm 50-50, I'd say, at the moment, but probably leaning slightly more to Darlow.
Good stuff. And a big happy birthday. Is it a special one this weekend, Jersey Chris?
This weekend?
Yeah, birthday.
No, 44, just a bang average.
Just a regular, a regular age. Well, enjoy your birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Lee. What do you think? Leeds, West Ham.
I'm going to go Leeds win. I've not got the pessimistic Leeds kind of thing in me. So yeah, I'm gonna go 3-2 because I think West Ham need a win. They were absolutely appalling on Monday night.
Yeah.
I don't think, like Joe was saying about the fans not turning up and everything, I think that might have made a difference, but they were dreadful. It's probably one of the worst Premier League performances I've seen. Full stop. It was that bad. I think Leeds, like Adam was saying, it's the injuries at the minute for Leeds. I think they are good enough to beat West Ham, especially like Okafor. I think is absolutely outstanding talent. So yeah, I'm going to go 3-2 because I think Bowen's going to score.
Okay, that might be a great game for the neutral later on tonight. We'll give that a watch.
And Chesney, of course, they want Chesney gloating, do we? So.
Well, yeah, exactly. I imagine he'd be quite excited on the WhatsApp chat if it's in a way win tonight. But we shall see.
I think he's pretty depressed about West Ham at the moment. So.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he needs cheering up, doesn't he? So,
well, and he's bottom of our league as well. So,
yes, well, he is. He is Waitrose's number one. Don't forget that.
It's quite interesting because Farker was sort of asked about, if they were to lose, just how much pressure is being piled on him, and he basically said, "Look, when we were drawing games last season in a record season, my job was apparently under threat." And like it was at the end of the season when there was a lot to talk before they actually won the league, didn't they? Yeah. That it was still under threat. So I don't get the impression that if Leeds were to, that they're going to push the button on him or anything like that. But certainly from a fan's point of view, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you'll feel it, Chris and Lee, that there's a real sense of angst this week coming into this game now after what happened at the weekend. That if they don't win it, and if certain people play, I mean, obviously Aronson's had a tough time this week, hasn't he, off the fans, and rightly so for missing a great chance and not doing too much else. That if this selection doesn't go what the fans think is an attacking selection, then I think there'll be quite a few groans once that team sheet comes out an hour and a quarter before kick-off. I've
kind of gone full circle now on Farker because there's no one out there as a manager that I'd want to manage Leeds right now. So, I mean, get to January, see how we get on in January, and then push on from there. Depends where we are. I do feel that the 18th, 17th, and 16th spot is where we're going to be for the remainder of the season. So, hopefully, we'll survive this season and take it on next season, as you said before. So.
Yeah, I've got to say, from a professional point of view, he's as good as I've worked with. And look, we've had managers that are great with the media, but it doesn't mean they're great as a football manager. I think he's like as close as you can get as the complete package for what Leeds need right now to stay in the division and develop talent and the club and move it forward within the parameters of the owners and what they want. I think he works very well managing upwards as well as downwards. And I think there's a hard streak to him that you don't really see that comes across in his press conferences. So I think I'm with you because I think right now it's as good as it can be for Leeds.
Yeah.
I like Farker. As a neutral, I like Farker. Looking on, and last season I thought he was brilliant what he did at Leeds United, like genuinely. So when Leeds fans were whinging about him, I was like, try having Michael Carrick in charge, mate. Seriously, I thought Farker was cracking me. But again, I'm removed from the club kind of thing. But I think most people would be quite happy to have him. A lot of championship clubs would love to have him, I'd say, Anyway, shall we move on to Brentford, Liverpool, Saturday night football? It's the late one. What do we think? Let's quickly go around this one. What do we think? Brentford, Liverpool. Lee, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go for Liverpool 2-0, I think. I genuinely think Salah's going to turn it on. He's been dropped tonight. I think he's on the bench tonight for the Champions League. I think that might give him put his nose out of joint a bit, and he might come back a bit stronger at the weekend.
Okay. Might be tired if he's playing on Friday night and Saturday exactly. As well.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah. You know what the week is.
I also thought Wirtz was shown flashes of brilliance at the weekend as well. I think his time is coming, and I think it'll come fairly soon. So I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool.
2-0 because I'm going to go 3-2 Brentford, just because I think Brentford at home they do crazy things, and Liverpool. Let's be honest. Let's all get on their back. Let's let him lose 5. Slot's annoying the life out of me right now as a neutral. He's on the sideline. I'm not being funny. So I'm quite. Yeah. That was the best thing about Man U winning at the weekend was watching him get annoyed because I don't know what it is. Slot. He's last season when they were winning stuff. I thought I don't mind Liverpool winning, but he just seems a bit of a whinge. That's
yeah. All went off in the derby, didn't it? Where he showed his he got his emotions finally get the better of him, didn't it? Last year. So so yeah. I mean, obviously from my point of view, I don't want them to do well at all. But do you know what? I was actually thinking of whether to put Gakpo in the side as part of a free hit, thinking that they might actually sneak a win at Brentford, because I still think Brentford have had the guts ripped out of them, from the manager going right through to a load of players. But they've actually, they look decent. I don't know, West Ham were poor, but they looked decent the other night. But so I sort of am expecting a 1-0 Liverpool win.
Yeah, 1-0. I think Brentford are going to be one of those teams that kind of win one, maybe draw, lose a couple, and then win and surprise again. I think they're finding themselves again this season. But Andrew seems to be doing a decent job with them, to be fair. So, but yeah, so 1-0 Liverpool. You're going, Adam. Steve, how about you?
I don't have any Liverpool or Brentford players in my team, so
you don't care.
I don't really care, no. But which is weird when you think Liverpool. There's going to be all these star players that we're having. I thought I'd have a full team of Liverpool players, but I haven't got any. So I'll go for a Desmond 2-2.
2-2. That'd be good. And Chris, how about you?
We're kind of talking about early season, weren't we? About Liverpool winning but not playing very well, and now they're losing and not playing very well. So I think they've got a click with all these new players, and I think Brentford. I think I'm going to go for a 2-1.
2-1 Brentford.
2-1 Liverpool. Sorry.
Oh, right. I was going to say.
I don't think it's like Adam said about the Leeds match. I think Leeds gave Liverpool too much respect, and I think that's kind of the clubs now are going for the jugular. Basically, they've realised they're not the team that they were last season. There is a lot of changes there. I think they're going for it, and when teams go for it, I always think being in a Manchester United pub surrounded by just United fans and having beer thrown all over me, and people embrace me as though I was a United fan as well. It was quite amusing. But I was a bit like Jamie. I'm not keen on the way that Slot's conducted his business at the minute, and it's kind of winding me up. So every time that they do lose, it's kind of adds that little bit of joy.
Yeah, he's just turned me right off. I've always liked Liverpool, but he's turned me right off Liverpool at the moment. I'm just like, not interested.
Col will be happy, by the way, because he was going on, as he does, about how nobody's getting on Liverpool's back because they're losing. Whereas as soon as United start to lose, bearing in mind United have not won 2 in a row until last week. So he'll be quite pleased that United, the heat's off them and it's on Liverpool for a change.
Well, yeah, United are starting to come good, dare I say it. But we'll see. Don't worry, Cole. If they drop the ball, we'll be the first to pick up on that. I'm sure. And the next game is Sunday afternoon football. Bournemouth against Forest. I mean, who knows who will be in charge for Forest on Sunday? The amount that they go through, but yeah, I mean, Sean Dyche, interesting appointment for me. But what do we think? Bournemouth, Forest. Adam, we'll start with you again.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking, obviously, Semenya's been in many a side, and thankfully I got onto him early this year, but Essien as well. I'm predicting, I don't think Dyche is going to work his magic too quickly, and what he will do, obviously, he'll try and shore it up, but I can see Bournemouth getting this 3-0.
Yeah.
So I'm going heavy with it as well. It's funny that Dyche said today, he said, this is the biggest challenge of my career. And thinking that, having been at Everton, which was a tough gig for him, I'd say, but he's put this down as the biggest challenge. I don't know whether it's to do with him being at his hometown club sort of thing, but or whether he's referring to the owner in an obtuse sort of way. But,
that's what I think.
But I mean, I don't know what you felt though at the beginning of the season. When I looked at sort of Leeds' prediction, I thought Leeds, Sunderland, Burnley, look, they're going to be in the mix for trying to stay up. But I had Forest down. I just thought this European thing might really affect them like it did Burnley all those years ago. I had sort of Wolves down in there, and then I was thinking either Brentford or West Ham. So Forest, it really could go badly wrong here. But I think it's a solid appointment by them. And, they were like a great defence, weren't they, before Ange got there? They had a fantastic defence last year. So if they get that back together, I think they'll probably just about pull away.
They might be hard to beat. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, hopefully they'll lose at the weekend. That'd be good. And if Semenyo gets a couple, that'll be good. So 3-0 from you, Adam. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Adam. I think first game is going to be tough for Dyche. I think Bournemouth are going to be way too strong for them. I'm going to go 4-0 then.
4-0.
Wow.
Steve, do you want to go 5?
Well, I think, like we said, I think Dyche is he's not had much time to work with him, but he's going to literally park the bus in. He's not going to want to lose. I think he'll go for a draw, but Bournemouth are a really good team out there. Even Nielsen's injured, though, isn't he now? I think he's out.
Sure.
So I think Krupi Jr. might be starting for him now. I would go with a 2-1 or 1-0.
Okay. One goal.
Do I have to pick one?
Yeah, go on.
2-1.
2-1. Lee, go on. What do you think?
In that case, I'll go 1-0 Bournemouth. I think Forest's injury problems in defence are just starting to get better. So I think under Dyche, I think they'll start to get some draws. They're not going to beat many teams, but I also think they overperformed massively last season. Chris Wood looks his age at the minute as well.
Yeah.
He looks very, very leaden-footed, but can't see him beating Bournemouth, so they're 1-0.
Good stuff. And I'm going to go for a really boring 0-0 with Sean Dyche written all over it. So there we go. But yeah, who the hell knows as ever, and we'll find out at the weekend and see how we do. But let's move on as we do. And Adam, we're going to have a bit of more of a chat with you now. As we ask everyone who's a first timer on the pod, we ask who they support and why. And obviously you're an Everton fan.
Yeah.
But any particular reason why?
Yeah, sure. Well, firstly, I'm not one of those sort of commentators that likes to, thinks you should hide who you support. I mean, I had some of my colleagues in the past and pretended to support the club that they are commentating on because they felt that they'd get pelters from fans. But we all got into it because we're fans, haven't we? So I was born in Liverpool and then was whisked immediately to the Wirral by my parents where we lived. And so I grew up watching two good sides, Liverpool and Everton, and I plumped for Everton. So, and I was lucky. I caught it. The back end of the 70s, because I'm 58, were great players like Bob Latchford, Mick Lyons, but underachieved. Nearly men, missed out, refereeing decisions, all that sort of stuff, and then plummeted a bit. And then when it took Howard Kendall a little while to get going, and suddenly we had this fantastic side of what they call sort of no stars really, but it was your Reeds, Bracewell, Sheedy, Sharp, Heath, Ratcliffe, Big Nev in goal, and went on to great things. And then and I got to see all that firsthand, and so I was really, really fortunate. And you know what it's like, guys, you get a bit of success and you think you're going to be at Wembley every year, you think you'll be winning titles every year, and then suddenly it changes. And obviously one of the big things for Everton, as it was for a lot of clubs, and I mean obviously compared to what happened at Heysel and the death of all those poor supporters, mainly Italians, then that affected us a lot in terms of being able to progress after. Then it probably took a couple of years for us to realise that, won another title, and then since then it's been a struggle. I mean, it's 95 since we won a trophy. If you want to count the Charity Shield and Vinny Samway scoring against Blackburn Rovers after we won the cup. That's the last time we've lifted any silver. I mean, it's horrible, but that's where it came for me. And I've been lucky. I had family members that were involved with the club. Grandpa that played in goal didn't actually make his debut for Everton. I've had a lot of close family that still go. And I miss that part of being a fan. But yeah, that's where it's come from. But I've done Leeds for like 20 years now, pretty much, and it's amazing how that club gets under your skin and becomes so much part of your DNA and affects you in so many ways. It's hard to be objective about a club that you've worked so closely with. And I think that, and I really get upset when people start chucking the dirty Leeds thing around. It bothers me when I thought historically that's incorrect. So I've got a massive affection for Leeds. Obviously because I'm working with it all the time, but yeah, my actual club is Everton, and one day I'll go back to being a fan.
Great stuff. Good.
As long as it's not Wolves away in the League Cup, which was dreadful the day, by the way.
Who'd want to relive that one?
Like McNeil looked like he'd never kicked a football in his life. Anyway.
Great stuff. So we've got a bit of a random question for you, and then we'll have some maybe some homework questions, but some listener questions for sure on the way next. But this question is, I love my nonsense questions. If you're not going to bed just yet, What things do you like to do ahead of getting some shut eye on an evening?
Right. Okay. So I'm actually in the bedroom at the moment because I've been banished because I've got cold and that by the wife. So currently I like to read because within a few pages I get off. So currently reading a book called The Racket. It was an Irish tennis player called Conan Ireland about his career, which is interesting. Or do you remember, some of you might remember a left winger called Ronnie Goodless that played for Everton in the 70s. I've got his book to read as well. But I love a podcast too. So I've just finished Talking Sopranos, which was, I don't know if you know the series, but best thing that was ever on telly. There was two of the characters, the one who played Chrissy and the other who played Bobby Bacala, did a podcast during COVID called Talking Sopranos, and they've gone through every episode and they've had great guests on and analysed all this. Great insight to the world of acting, and I love that. So I've just smashed through about 91 episodes of that.
Wow.
And then, so love a podcast, bit of music as well. Just started playing guitar this last year as well. So bit of that, and then combination of all that, and then hopefully get myself off to sleep. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you.
It sounds like a busy bedtime.
It does sound like a very. I bet there's no time. There's lots of procrastinating before you go to sleep. So, good stuff. Thank you very much. Right, have we got any homework questions from the panel this evening or this Friday morning?
Who's the most difficult person you've had to interview at a press conference, being manager, player, coach, owner?
Well, the most difficult in the sense of technically, but he was also one of the best, was Marcelo Bielsa, because we had to do it through an interpreter and a translator. So it was difficult from that point of view because you ask the question, it gets translated into Spanish. He speaks in Spanish, it gets translated back in English. So it was taking sort of 4 times longer than it would normally. And there was no sort of backwards and forth. But he was one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life as well. And it was a real pleasure. So technically, that was probably the most difficult because the edit, as I'm sure you guys know when you're editing this podcast, you're all the time thinking, where are we going to edit, how are we going to cut it out? And so that was the most, difficult technically. But most awkward to interview. It's the ones that don't speak, isn't it? And they've been... bless him. When Alex Moat, he's a lovely lad, but when he first started out at Leeds and he'd interview and it was literally one-word answers. And that was a bit difficult. So it wasn't because he was, being awkward or anything like that. But I do remember, now this didn't happen to me, but I remember one of my colleagues, they were doing a play, I think it was a Southampton player and ex-Southampton player. And then he came to Huddersfield Town and he refused to take his headphones off whilst doing the interview, those big sort of massive, and they're just thinking, come on, guys. So you get a few awkward moments like that. But the moment that always gets mentioned back to me is when Gary Monk was in charge at Leeds and they went to Huddersfield Town. And it was the year Huddersfield Town got promoted under David Wagner. And there was a bit of a feisty sort of moment between the two managers on the touchline. And they sort of bumped into each other. It was a bit balloons on sticks. It wasn't much, but hey, the big thing was made out of it, local derby. And after the game, Huddersfield had won 1-0. And Gary hadn't really got his claws into Leeds at that point. And I asked him something along the lines of, where's the identity of the team? And he sort of took a bit of umbrage to that. And then I said, how's your relationship with the owner, who was Cellino, I think it was at the time, Massimo Cellino. He said, that was none of your business. And I sort of said, well, yeah, but it's the business of 40,000 on a Saturday. I want to know, So, and to be fair, via his media, he did sort of apologise for being a bit awkward. And we got on fine after that. So that's the one that gets thrown back at me all the time. But, and sometimes, it does get a bit awkward. I remember Kevin Blackwell losing his rag massively at the beginning of his... it was after the playoff final in 2006 when they lost to Watford. It was literally the first game of the next season. And it was one of those where, Leeds had lost loads of players, had anybody to pick from, and they got through the game. I felt fortuitously beat Norwich on the opening day of the season. And I basically said that to him, said, do you feel like you were a little bit fortunate with the scoreline today? And he went absolutely bonkers with me. So he carried on to the next game at QPR where they threw away a 2-goal lead in the last few minutes, and he dared me to ask the same question. So there's moments really, but this is the way I look at it, guys. It's like when you're a local radio reporter like me and you're covering one team in the main, or you might cover a few teams, you might see that manager 100 times in a season, you know, pre-match, post-match, pre-match, post-match, cup games, other events or what have you. You have to establish a relationship. You can't just waltz in like some of the national guys do and just chuck the grenades in left, right, and centre all the time. Doesn't mean you can't ask the awkward questions, but you do have to build up a rapport. Otherwise, you're just not going to get anywhere.
Exactly.
So I'm not saying we're friends. It's not like I'm bringing Daniel Farker outside of, outside of work or anything like that. That's not the case. Sometimes it has been, but no, it's very much a press conference sort of relationship. And you have to build up that rapport, you know, and it's like after the game, it's finished. You know, managers are asked to speak pretty quickly, and it can get really feisty and emotional. But they're so well media trained now, I think a lot of them, that they sort of know what they're doing. But you don't get your Keegan moments, do you, so much anymore? But and Daniel's particularly good, I think, at dealing with the emotions, you know, post game, and still gets his message across without sort of upsetting anybody particularly. But yeah, there's been those that have been good with the media. Steve Evans, really good with the media, but wasn't a particularly great coach, I didn't feel, when he was at Leeds. But he was great with us, you know. But there's a difference, isn't there? But yeah, the ones that don't speak, they're the tough ones where you earn your corners. A bit like having to commentate on a 0-0. They're the ones where you earn your corners, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, Warnock must have been interesting.
So who was?
Neil Warnock. He must.
Yeah, it was an interesting. That was under Ken Bates. So there was a period where Radio Leeds didn't have a commentary deal. So for those that don't know, local radio station buys commentary rights off the local, does a deal with the local club, and it's obviously up to the club whether they want you to do a deal or not, but it's obviously income for the club. And Ken Bates didn't. So we were sort of out of the loop, having to just report, and we weren't able to commentate. We were actually, at one point, we were over in the Peacock over the road. There was me and ex-player Andy Ritchie. We'd have to like commentate from over the road, report from over the road, run into the ground, do a few reports during the game, run back at half time, plug back into the pub, and then go back the second half and then do the same at full time, just because of the restrictions that were being placed on us. Neil Warnock came in at the back end of Ken Bates' era. So, and then another outfit, GFH, a bank, if you remember, from the Middle East, took over. And Neil was able to speak to us then. And he was a brilliant sort of salesman, you know, in the sense that if he had a book out, you knew about it. And he was great at deflecting from defeats, you know, like putting the blame on something else, a referee or whatever. But yeah, I mean, great character. And then if you speak to the two other clubs in our patch of Bradford and Huddersfield Town that we cover as a radio station, and the Huddersfield Town fans absolutely adore him because, you know, he kept them up the other year again when he came back. So massive character. Has his favourites, as we know, Michael Brown, Paddy Kenny, all those, you know. But also great characters too. But yeah, he was an interesting one. And in Yorkshire, obviously, he's been around the place so much with his time at Sheffield United and what have you. So yeah, he's very bubbly, but very clever. I mean, not always there, is he, on the training ground? One of these that turns up a few days and it's got great motivational skills, and you know, it's, to an extent, has done an absolutely magnificent job at a lot of clubs, but has probably been a little bit unlucky in the top flight.
Yeah. Great manager, in my opinion. Good stuff. Steve, have we got any listener questions then?
We have a lot, possibly a little bit like Adam's just answered this. So from Joe Derrick, who was on last week's pod. He says, "Can you tell Popey I'm a massive fan and I've appreciated his enthusiasm and genuine excitement for the games when I've been unable to attend over the years. Can you ask him about his experience with Marcelo Bielsa, and are there any nuggets we might not already know? And do you think we should try and get him back?"
Oh, wow. Well, I tell you what, there was that chance he nearly went to Everton, wasn't there? When he offered them the chance, I'll take your 21s and let my staff take the first team to the end of the season. But nobody was going to take that risk. But honestly, this guy was sensational. I mean, from the moment he came in, and we didn't see it in pre-season. I think I was away a bit pre-season anyway with holiday and stuff. But I remember there was a game at Oxford pre-season, and I think they'd sold Ronaldo Vieira midfield, if you remember. And I thought, oh gosh, I wonder if that was part of the deal. I wonder if he'll walk, you know, after what happened at Lazio and beforehand. So they sold Ronaldo Vieira, even though he said that I would have made him double the price, in a year's time. But hey, we have to do it. So you go into that first game against Stoke. Oh my God! Within 15 minutes, we're like going, "What is this that we're watching?" I mean, they were just buzzing around everywhere, running over the top. I think there's a great quote about it. Said if Joe Allen was being pushed any further back, he'd be at Liverpool again. And it was just incredible how they played. And I remember at one point that I think we played Norwich quite early on in the season away, and again just blitzed them. They blitzed Derby, they blitzed Norwich, and I think he pulled in with his driver at a service station on the way out of Norwich, as I recall. And some fans were there just getting, coffees and stuff. And they just started applauding him. And this is like a few weeks into the into a sort of reign, if you like. Then when you look back, you think he's made Calvin Phillips England's Player of the Year. He had Luke Ayling talked of in dispatches about becoming an England right back. Bamford gets his one and only cap. He is just the ultimate coach in making players better and working out where best to play. And Calvin Phillips is the best example ever. He played the top of a diamond, right midfield, left midfield, if you like, defensive midfield. And he got him in that quarterback role and made him like some player. And it's really sad to see what's happened now. But the guy was extraordinary and just so lovely to deal with. I've never seen anybody deal with a press conference the way that he's had to, because of his relationship with Chile, where he was just fated, about what he did to Chilean football. He'd get asked questions post-match in a Premier League game or a Championship game. You'd be asking normal questions: who's injured, what are you going to do next week, all that sort of stuff. What do you think of today's game? And then somebody would go, Marcelo, what do you think of the plight of the Chilean people? And he'd answer the question rather than just saying, this is not the time to discuss that. He would actually answer. The guy was just phenomenal. And, there's been a play recently. Chris O'Connor, a big Leeds fan, did a play based on dementia, about a family suffering dementia, but following Leeds through the Bielsa period. Right. And it was really, really emotional and evocative. And as far as I know, Marcelo was very honoured that it's been sort of done in his name, that he was associated with it. And the legacy that he's left has been incredible. And it's almost like any manager now, you're not Bielsa, so you're not going to get the same love. And that's even having had a few managers, Gracia, Allardyce, Jesse Marsh, and now Daniel Farke, obviously, since that. So, I don't know how somebody who doesn't want to be the centre of attention became the epicenter of something that was so great. And it was so great that we lived through it and we knew it was good at the time, even though it was COVID. It's not one of those things that you go, oh, that was great. It actually was brilliant at the time. And I'm so grateful personally that I got the chance to do Premier League football on the back of that. But even if it stayed in the Championship, playing like that, you can't not enjoy it. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. I think that Stoke game was the first time I really believed that a coach could make a difference to a team. Because we'd ploughed through half a dozen managers in about 2 years at that point, haven't we? And then we got Bielsa. And then I think we finished 15th the year before. And then we played Stoke, who'd just come down, and it was all Stoke are going to win this 4-0. And then we'll have to move on from there because Stoke are favourites to go straight back up. And we just annihilated them. And I thought, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, I think Stoke had like McLean, Afobe, Ince, hadn't they? They'd still had some top players. Yeah, it was great. I loved even in the defeats, they still went for it, didn't they? And they did get some heavy defeats. Yeah. Personally, I think that, and I really appreciate what the person who's got in touch has said, the listener said. But I felt if they'd stuck with him, they would have stayed up rather than going for Jesse Marsh when they did, which was a failed project in the end. I actually thought they would have stayed up, but maybe they would have had to part ways in the summer. But yeah, what a legacy, what a guy, and didn't know too much about him before he came either.
No, I didn't really know.
But hey, tell you the amount of press that wanted to come and talk about him, hear about him from France and from Spain and elsewhere. He just created a massive stir.
I think he was disrespected a bit in his first year or so, wasn't he? People were a bit like, "Oh, it's just foreign guy. What's he on about?" Like the whole Frank Lampard thing.
Oh yeah.
And when he did that PowerPoint, called a presser and did a PowerPoint presentation, and just said, "I didn't need to spy on his team. This is everything about his team." And who takes shots with his left foot and who's crap. And
Yeah, that was
just
incredible. That,
amazing. I just thought it was just really put Frank Lampard in his place.
It was daylight on Magic, that, because I remember one of my colleagues, Catherine Hannah, she just returned to work that day from maternity leave, and she said, "Oh, I'll come with you to the press conference," because a lot of people thought he was going to walk that day after business about the Spygate and all this sort of stuff. And it wasn't. It was just to sort of explain his methods and how he does it all the time anyway. And it was incredible. I'm glad Catherine was there, because he was saying so much stuff that we needed somebody else to film it and somebody else to tweet it and all this. And it was just to take it all in. It was incredible. He did show Frank Lampard up. I have to say. And there's been a special relationship between Leeds United and not least Chelsea, but Frank Lampard ever since.
Yeah, for sure. Although I did bump into Frank in London, and he was very nice.
Yeah, he didn't say anything bad to him.
He was walking his dog. I did tell him I was a Leeds fan.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Well, you see, with my fan hat on, I've got to remember that he was in charge of Everton when they stayed up, when Calvert-Lewin got that winning header, to beat Palace 3-2, and Frank was in charge. So, but I think there's not a good feeling between his Derby County and, as we should call it, Frank Lampard's Derby County, that made it to the playoff final at Leeds' expense that year. And Leeds fans know there's no love lost there.
Yeah, no, not at all. Any more listener questions before we move on to the quiz? Yeah,
that one was from Joe Derrick, who was last week's
Joe.
guest. And the next one is from Ben Shires. He says, "Can you ask him if catering has improved in the press lounge since promotion?"
Well, Ben should know, because he's a regular on match day. If it's the same Ben Shires,
it is.
He's very smartly attired, I have to say, all the time.
Yeah.
Press food has improved. Sometimes it could be a bit random, and now I'm never one to complain, because I know fans are paying a lot of money. And I always treat it as a bonus that we actually do get fed. But you might turn up for an early kickoff, and it might be like, say, something like a fish cake or something, like thinking, what? Maybe you wanted a bit of breakfast or something. So, we've got a bit random at certain times. But no, there's a very good selection. Even a bit of sushi lying around these days, would you believe? I mean, how...
We would, because Big Lee was on. He said that he sorted that out or something.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, nice one, Lee. So, a bit of sushi. There's a bit of hot stuff going. Might be a bit of pie and chips and what have you. A few sandwiches. One of the guys has got one of the local press guys has got an intolerance, so he always gets like some really fancy stuff. So they'll cater for that as well. But no, drinks, coffee, whatever. All good. Yeah, I've got to say they've upped their game. But we make a pact at the beginning of each season as reporters and what have you at Radio Leeds. We said, look, do not moan about travelling, food, conditions, what have you, because fans are paying a lot more to do that, and we're getting paid to do this. So even if it was rubbish, I would tell you, but I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. Yeah,
Good stuff.
And that was it for.
That's it. Should we go for the ChatGPT quiz then? I know all of our listeners on a Friday morning love a good whinge at ChatGPT.
Although, can I just mention that with Popey saying what he does with AD White now, when Chris last came up to Leeds, Chris lives in Jersey, so when Chris came up to Leeds, it was probably about 10 years ago, was it, Chris?
About that, yeah.
And I think we played Forest, and was it last game of the season as well? And I think the end of season do was after the match, and me and Chris then went on the lash and stayed out to the whatever, and then we rolled into the Rock Bar, was it? I think Don Matteo on the Rock Bar.
Oh yeah, okay.
And we went in there, and the whole Leeds squad were in there after the end of season do. Everyone was wasted, and I distinctly remember me and Chris having a chat with AD White, who was in the team, in and out of the team at the time. He was only a young kid; he was only about 19, I think. Maybe a bit older. And I remember us telling him, all you need to do, are you really fast? Just kick it past him, run and cross it. That's all we want you to do. And he was kind of going, oh yeah, all right, yeah.
Do you know what? He probably the last person to be wasted. We've done a few aways with AD, but he's not a big drinker. But what a great guy, and he's proper clued in on football. Even though sadly he had to retire from Rochdale because he got several concussions. And he's got a young family and a wife that works. So he was advised on medical grounds that he had to stopped playing, as he was telling us. So, but yeah, he was lying. He got a great goal against Everton, didn't he? Do you remember in the League Cup?
How old is he then, Eddie? He must be early 30s.
He's only early 30s,
Yeah.
like Zaidi. Yeah, a proper great guy. Yeah, really enjoyed it. So he was with us at Burnley, but Big John Newsom does the away games with us, you know, the title winner from 1992. So another guy loves his golf, actually. So he tends to do the away games with us. But Aidy's been doing all the home games. But yeah, he's a really, really good lad. Katie O'Brien seems to be where players end up after the end of the season these days. Obviously, the rock bar's gone where we're done with this thing. But yeah, no, Aidy's not a big drinker. But yeah, great.
He was maybe sober then, so he's probably taking on me and Chris's advice.
Yeah, I'm sure he listened to every word. Yeah. Funny, talk about pushing balls past people. He said Kyle Walker last week. He said he was in a youth squad with him, and he said I was quick, flaming out. The one person I couldn't push the ball past and run around was Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
And tell you what, even now Walker still looks like he's got rockets in his boots.
Good stuff. Right, let's play ChatGPT. I don't know if you use ChatGPT or Copilot much, Adam, at work, but this is proof, this quiz, that ChatGPT is not taking over the world anytime. I think it's fair to say. So we're going to do classic season 1 stuff because you are first time on the pod and you are our solo guest tonight. We're going to give you 90 seconds. I'm going to ask lots of questions about English football in the last 40 years.
Right.
Thanks to ChatGPT. Sorry, some of the questions, the answers might be wrong. I think it's fair to say.
Right.
But if the answer is wrong and we know that you've got it right, we'll give you a point.
Can't I have last week's question? I got loads of those. Right. That was that championship, wasn't it? Medley sort of last week.
I'm just having a look. I think they're relatively easy this week.
Right.
Again, I've just been played. But yes, we'll go for as many questions as we can in 90 seconds. Steve has the timer, and after 90 seconds he will shout something suitably appropriate or topical around this week's episode. But just like Mastermind, if we start, we will finish. Lee, do you want to do the fingers in the air score and see if we can get some fireworks in the background there? Sometimes happens.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got. I'm on a new Mac, so it's,
you've lost your magic. You went to see Magic Mod and you've lost it.
That's
drained him.
Drain.
That's what's happened. But there we go. And Chris, you can be on hand to make sure that everything is done good and proper, shall we say? So we shall start when I ask the first question. Right. First question then. Which player won the PFA Player of the Year award in 2019?
That was pre-COVID, wasn't it? Oh, man. Pass.
Virgil van Dijk. Who was the top scorer in the Premier League during the 2014-2015 season?
Wow. I was thinking, is Ronaldo there?
It was Sergio Aguero. Which team did England beat in the semi-final of the 1996 UEFA European Championship?
What did England beat?
England lost to them, but according to ChatGPT, we won.
Oh, we lost to
Euro 96
we lost
semi-final.
to Germany, didn't we?
We did, but according to ChatGPT, we beat them. So yes, Germany. Which player scored England's only goal in the 2-1 loss to Brazil in the 2002 World Cup quarter-final?
Oh, that's the one where it goes over his head, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll just have to go for Shearer.
Michael Owen, apparently. Which club did Frank Lampard play for before joining Chelsea?
Oh, West Ham.
It was West Ham. In which year did Arsenal go unbeaten throughout the entire Premier League season?
Right, I remember doing the game when they lost. 2003.
Yeah, it was 3 to 2004. Who was the first manager of the Premier League era Liverpool?
Fish cakes.
That's our finish. Who was the first manager of the Premier League era Liverpool?
For 1992. That would have been Graham Souness.
It was.
Because he won the FA Cup, didn't he?
Yes. So you scored a grand total of 4.
Strong 4.
That's a decent score. That's like
Is it?
above par with last season's.
I gave you a bit extra because you were pondering quite a bit.
Yeah, I should have just moved on, shouldn't I? But like, I just felt bad. I couldn't give it to a Liverpool player, could I?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And very quickly, we're gonna wrap things up with this week's pod. We played a game last season called Shooting Stars in Their Eyes, where we looked back at Match Magazine, Shoot Magazine, where players in the 80s and 90s in particular got asked random questions.
Right.
Remember that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Happen. Well, Adam, you might remember if we take you back to the 24th of September 2014. You were asked a lot of questions on BBC Radio Leeds, and it's archived. It's amazing what you can find when you Google someone's name.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask some questions. We're going to find out more about your favourite BBC Radio Leeds presenter. And interestingly, some of the things you talked about have come up like this today. You've talked about The Godfather and you've talked about The Sopranos. So there's some constants there. But yes, what do we think Adam's first car was, everybody?
Ford Capri.
Sadly, it wasn't a Ford Capri, the favourite of everybody's, but it was. Do you remember what it was, Adam?
Yeah. So you want me to say, it was, and I didn't own it, but it was a Ford Orion.
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah, mine was an Orion as well.
Was it diesel? Like mine was. It was filthy.
No, but it had a choke thing on it, and that was really.
So I'm talking like this was. I was in the builders merchants game then.
Mhm.
And so as a rep, I had a Ford Orion to get myself around Leeds. Yeah.
Great stuff. I like the way obviously you've remembered it even 11 years on from being asked. What was the first record that Adam bought? What do we think?
White Lines by
in the
Grandmaster
70s.
Flash.
I'll give you a clue. It was in the 70s. There's a clue. A whole decade for you. Rod Stewart, no.
Rod Stewart. We were in Vegas last summer. Rod Stewart was performing at Caesar's Palace, and we weren't going. Adele had been on the week before, which we missed, but I wouldn't go and see Rod Stewart. Come on.
Sorry, apologies.
Quote.
Did someone say quo? That's even worse.
Yeah,
No
The
way.
Bee Gees.
No, it was Mull of Kintyre.
Oh, yeah.
Although the person whoever
UK.
wrote this up for BBC Radio Leeds was having Paul McCartney singing that, not Wings. So there you go. But it's but it's Mull of Kintyre, which is good.
First album I bought was Eat to the Beat Blondie. That's a bit better, isn't it?
It was. That was the other one I was going to come on to. Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there you go. You both were down. Do you remember doing this for BBC Radio Leeds? Do you remember this being
Vaguely, yeah, I do. Yeah. Do you know? I actually found the Eat to the Beat album I bought from Din's in West Kirby, which is where I grew up, for like $3.99. I've still got the original sleeve.
Yeah.
So the vinyl, which is obviously back into fashion now.
Still got it. And what's your favorite thing in your wardrobe? Is it still the same thing that you know?
This was full Sopranos. I had to get rid. My wife made me get rid of it. I had a long black leather coat.
Yeah.
From Ciro Chiterio, which I remember back when this is when I was on decent money in another industry, and I bought it from Ciro Chiterio, which is no longer there, and I think it was like 250 quid, which was a lot of money then for me. But I loved this long black leather sort of coat thing, and she made me bin it.
Oh,
I know, but that was my favorite thing in my wardrobe. Yeah,
Good stuff. And
Did you never wear that to Elland Road? Did you, Adam?
Yeah. No. Oh, I wish. Yeah, it wasn't really sort of match day attire really for a commentator. I mean, like, I just thought it was James Gandolfini, didn't I, from The Sopranos? That was
good stuff. And what would you do if you were invisible for a day?
What would I do? Wow.
Was
this
didn't
one of the
answer
questions?
This, by the way, we've thrown this one in because
Wow.
it's
What
a
would I
regular
do?
from Shoot
One of our
Magazine.
classics.
If nobody could see me for a day. Wow. So it's got to be something that I couldn't get to otherwise. Do you know what I would do? If it was sort of work related, I would love to go into a dressing room and just hear what the managers actually do say to the players at halftime and full time before they come out and see us. I just wonder if it'd be a completely different experience to one that they tell us about afterwards. You know, that's so because that's the inner sanctum that we can never, no matter how close we get, we can't get. And so I'm sure I could think of something more exciting, but from a work point of view, it'd probably be,
that would be it.
can I go in there and listen to what they say and see who's scrapping with who and who hates who and, you know, where all the cliques are or who all the buddies. And yeah. So probably that, yeah.
Good stuff. And the final question that you were asked, is it the same answer 11 years on? What's your best radio moment?
Wow. Oh, no, I think it'll change now. I think the best commentary-wise or some moment, I think, generally last season, that last sort of late winner from Solomon down at Plymouth for Leeds was right up there, just for the drama of Pip and Burnley too at the end and what it meant and the vindication for all the Farkers, you know, stuff that he'd done and the team were great. So there's that one. I'll be hard pressed, but also during COVID, because we were so privileged to be able to go to the games when others went, to see Leeds promoted under Marcelo and lift the trophy was incredible, although weird, obviously, with no fans there. But in terms of absolute drama, the goal goes in front of the Leeds fans. Probably, I think it might shift, you know, but this time next year. But Solomon's goal late on at Plymouth was, for what it represented, was really, really special.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And your answer, if you might not remember, but 11 years ago, you said Huddersfield's playoff win over Mansfield at Cardiff in May 2004.
Yes, I wonder. Because I think that was I wonder if these questions were done even earlier than that, you know, because by then, I hadn't started doing Leeds then. I did Leeds 5-6 was my first season with Leeds when they lost to Watford in that final. But going to Cardiff was a great venue for playoff finals. If you win, but the whole setup, you know, straight out into the city afterwards, a few beers or the night before, what have you. Fantastic place to play sport, and for us to, you know, set up. The whole thing was great. My lad, he's actually a commentator himself now, freelance. I live in Huddersfield. Now, so I've took him to Everton. He's been to Leeds. He's been to Man City with one of his other uncles. He plumbed for his hometown club, and so he's seen Huddersfield win in various playoff finals and make the Premier League as well. So that was a really special moment because he was there as a fan that day, and we sort of stopped over with my wife and that. So it was a special moment. It was. But sadly, a couple of years later, it wasn't so good for Leeds when they got collied off Watford 3-0.
Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for being such a good sport this morning.
Oh, pleasure. Sorry, I've sounded ropey.
No, at all. But thank you so much, and we wish you all the best of luck for the season as well in SWYW, and also with Leeds United as well. Hopefully, you'll have some exciting games to commentate on, and some big scalps like Manchester United and Cole. But that would be good for you to do that as well. But remember, you can follow us on Twitter at SWYW_FPL. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a comment. We've had a few of the managers leaving us comments recently, which is nice, saying that they're enjoying the pod and stuff like that. Cole called us a rude word, I think, the other week. But again, feel free to share your beef on that as well. But yes, thanks to Chris, Steve, and Lee as well. They think it's all over. It is for this morning, and enjoy your footballing week and keep on singing and keep on winning. Goodbye.
Thanks, guys.
Get out of my podcast.